So I got introduced to Georgia First by a local inventor, Lonnie Johnson, who some of you know is the inventor of the Super Soaker. And if you think it's one thing to make money and do well with one of your toys, that's good. But Lonnie likes walking into a stadium full of kids to play with robots. And he will take a Super Soaker in there with him, and he'll just spray the front row. And the crowd goes nuts. And to this day, I think it's one of the greatest things he enjoys. And so I to all of you, if you ever get a chance to go to a First competition, set the day aside. It's going to be an experience you will never forget. So I'm up here for a couple of minutes to share with you a couple of things that we learned about the top 10 after we selected them this year. Dennis gave you some of the stats that we figured out along the way, but I wanted to share a little bit about the whole trail of Atlanta getting to this point, because sometimes we just don't take enough time to celebrate where we are. And so I'm going to share a couple of little things with you. First, I'd like to really thank Dennis and the committee. There are a lot of people in this room that participated in this process. There were dozens of meetings, a lot of interviews, a lot of coaching, and we still screw things up, but that's life. But I really, really want to thank everyone who was involved. In fact, one of the members walked in, Blake Patton walked in, put a little light on something in the back room while Dennis and I were trying to read something, and we didn't do very well. So I'm getting my glasses out. So one of the things that's different about the top 10 rather than top 40, Dennis mentioned traction. Traction is revenue, sales, customers. And one of the things that I noticed when we looked through all the top 10 is that they already have customers that include some of the world's largest banks, some of the world's largest brokerages, retailers, insurance firms, shippers, television stations, and networks. Some of the largest tech firms and indeed governments of countries are also customers. That's an amazing thing for companies that just kicked off a few years ago and just starting to grow here in this state. So where'd they come from? Well, two of these companies started at Flashpoint, two launched out of Atlanta Tech Village, another one from Tech Square Labs, several took space at ATDC, and some actually developed programming while they were at ATDC before they launched. One was hatched inside of a Fortune 500 firm. Two launched from previous unicorn teams. We don't think about it. Atlanta produces unicorns. I mean, there's David Dabieri sitting there pounding away on a computer creating another one. Are you emailing your brother? Okay, we need money for this. I understand. Three of these startups that are top 10 trace their roots to research universities. One began as a huge project at DARPA that nobody in Atlanta really had a bead on. And they were bubbling away inside of Tech Square Labs, and we watched some things going on, and that's CyberX. They were up here earlier. So let me tell you who funded these along the way. This is the piece of the story that if you all look at your tables, you'll see this year's report on where we are. Let me tell you a few of the companies, the VC firms and angels that put money in early that really made the difference here. So the angel list, and I'll leave somebody out, I know it, but these are the ones I could spot quickly. Tom Noonan, Paul Judge, Sig Mosley, David Cummings, Alan Nance, Ashish Mistry, Mark Spiegel, and some other notables like the chairman of Guggenheim Partners and the co-founder of Square were early angels before the seed rounds. Once you got up to the institutional rounds, seed and Series A, you had some other names you'll know, like Mosley Ventures and Tech Operators and Tech Square Labs and Atlanta Ventures, GRA Venture Fund. But you'll also have some that we frankly don't think we have many visitors from. And let's start that list. Google Ventures, FF Ventures, Andreessen Horowitz, Kleiner Perkins, Sigma, Galen Partners, New Evolution Partners, Felicis Ventures, IVP, Redpoint, High Alpha, Harpo. Do you know who Harpo is? There's no one? Pardon? Oprah, that's right. Emergence Capital, Geodesic Capital, Capital G, which is the new name for Google Capital, Tomorrow Ventures, which is Eric Schmidt's firm, UPS Strategic Enterprise Fund here locally, Discovery Communications, Sony Pictures, Meritech Capital. That's a fund that doesn't usually appear until you're about to get an IPO. Hint, hint. Icon Ventures, City Ventures, Pritzker, Wellington Management, the Mellon Group, and Goldman Sachs. Not bad. I think we've gotten there. I think we've arrived. We've earned that, whether it's the top 4 or the top 5, we've earned that spot. I just look forward to seeing where we're going to be next year. So I want to say it's my distinct pleasure to introduce the next 3 of the top 10. And I'll come back a little later on to explain how we're going to do the funny voting we do for the People's Choice Awards. You're going to have some fun today. But we've got SalesLoft, Laser, and Sharecare coming up next. And I'm just very proud to be able to be a part of this process and introduce Kyle Porter from SalesLoft right now. Thank you very much.